Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. This is a requested video. Someone asked me to make a letter about this to Mr. Philip Satchel. So let's see how we can write it to get a B score. So first I will read the details of the case notes. The name is Philip Satchel, age 73, marital status, wife deceased in 2007. Family, two sons in their 40s in Darwin. First attended community center March 2007. 2007. Last visit to community center February 2011. So diagnosis is multiple sclerosis, type 2 diabetes, chronic left and right leg ulcers. The next is social and medical background. Current lives alone in public housing in Orange. Future will move to equivalent housing in Marlborough to access for MS treatment. MS means multiple sclerosis. Then his income is mentioned. He is an aged pensioner. Then the other informations: poor compliance with the oral diabetic agents and diabetic diet. MS currently stable but frequent relapses. 2 to 3 over 12 Staphylococcus aureus infections. This is the acronym we are using, means 2 to 3 months because there are 12 months in a year. In leg ulcers, pus plus, that is the severity of the pus formation is mentioning by adding plus. Lonely and isolated but nil mental illness. Good relations with the sons but rarely see them. They run a pet shop business. Next comes nursing, management and progress. Medications: IV antibiotics twice daily and metformin for diabetes 3 times per day. Twice daily dressings to left and right legs. Monitored blood sugar levels, medication compliance and provided education regarding diabetes. Constantly monitored for signs of MS relapse. So what is the discharge plan? Switch to oral antibiotics but continue same diabetic medications and dressings. Please refer to Prince of Wales Diabetic Clinic for medication review and education. Via your doctors, facilitate referral to neurologist for MS follow-up. Support to link with community services to increase coping and social network. Next comes the important part, that is the writing task. Using the information in the case notes, write a referral letter to the community nurse, community health and Marlborough, outlining relevant information and requesting continued community care. So what are the important information we should know before we start to write an OET letter? First, we have to keep in mind what is our position. As it is mentioned, it is community center. So we are a community nurse. Then next, where we have to go? We must go to the writing task. So here we are writing to the community nurse itself in another community center in Marlborough. Then we should, as you know, there is 5 minutes to read. In that time, we cannot take any pen or pencil in our hands. So we can just prepare in mind. And when you start with the 40 minutes, first use again another 5 minutes to see what are the information which is relevant, which is semi-relevant and which is irrelevant. You can just make a tick or cross out what is relevant. In that way, we can plan the letter. When you plan the body of the letter or skeleton, it will be easy for you to write the letter within 35 minutes, and the last 5 minutes you can take for the proofreading. So the skeleton is very important. So let's see how we can write an example letter here. But don't try to copy this, just try to make it your own. Before you write, just imagine you are the community nurse who is going to give the continued care or ongoing care to Mr. Philip Satchel. So what all information you need to know? You just try to note what are the information will help you to provide the care for this patient. In that way, you can write a clear and better letter to get the B score. Because sometimes we are making the irrelevant note, or sometimes we are not writing the needed information in that letter. That's why we do not get the required score. It's always better to avoid using the same words from the case notes. Try to use synonyms or paraphrase and even concise the letter. Just try to make the summary with the relevant information which is needed by the receiver. So let's see how we can write it. So the address, there is no name is given, so we can use the community nurse. Whenever there is no name is mentioned, always try to put the in front of the position. So in this case, the community nurse, Community Health Center, Maroubra. As there is no date given here, the last visit to community center is mentioned February 2011. So we can use that date. But during your exam, no need to worry. The exam date will be the date given. So there will not be any confusion. Then what is the position? We can write the salutation, Dear Nurse. No need to write Sir or Madam, because we are going to write this letter to a nurse. Then the reference, Mr. Philip Satchel, age 73. If the date of birth is given, just try to prioritize the date of birth. That is the most relevant information than the age. Then how we can write an introduction? I am writing to refer because this is a refer letter, or we can use the purpose of this letter is to introduce Mr. Philip Satchel, who has multiple sclerosis and chronic lung ulcers secondary to type 2 diabetes mellitus. Then he requires ongoing care or continued care and management because he is planning to move to Maroubra. That is the reason we are sending him there, and he requests the care. And it is better to make it in 2 to 3 lines. Then next para, how we can write it. Mr. Satchel is a regular patient in our clinic since 2007, and he had 2 to 3 episodes of Staphylococcus aureus infections in the past 1 year. On examination, pus formation was noticed in the lower extremities, for which daily dressing was performed. Along with, he was commenced on intravenous antibiotics twice daily. Then we can move on to the next para. Mr. Satchel's blood sugar was monitored regularly because, or we can use as, because we used the word because in the introduction, as he is not compliant with the diabetic diet and medications. He was advised regarding diabetes and is on metformin 3 times per day. In this regard, please refer him to Prince of Wales Diabetic Clinic for medication review and education. So it's finished. No need to write in the recommendation. So we can just combine it together That is the way we have to write. So it's clear for them in that way. So we wrote about the diabetes and the leg ulcer. Then we can tell about his multiple sclerosis. Currently, Mr. Satchel's multiple sclerosis is stable. However, he has frequent relapses for which he is transferring to your service for easy access for the treatment. And a neurologist referral would be beneficial for Mr. Satchel. So it's all combined and it's finished there. Or we can write he requires a neurology referral. Then next paragraph is the social history. Mr. Satchel is a retired pensioner who lives alone. Instead of lives, we can use resides alone. So just try to paraphrase it. Although he maintains good relationship with his sons, he feels loneliness and isolation, or he feels secluded. That is the synonym of isolated. Then please liaise him with the community services in order to increase his coping and social network. Then we can go to the recommendation. In view of the above, it would be appreciated if you could change his antibiotics to oral form. What else requirement is there? Then kindly perform a daily dressing for him. We can write along with daily wound dressing. Then the last conclusion, please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any queries regarding Mr. Satchel. Then as the name of the receiver is not mentioned, but we can write yours faithfully. Then community health nurse, that is our position. I think it's clear for you. And if you feel it's beneficial for you, please share with your friends who is preparing for OET as well. So at least they can also get benefit from these videos to secure their score in their first attempt. Thank you for supporting me. Keep watching. Thank you.